back in the shed again. So I'm going to do that RB30 head, which I've been putting off. I've just got it propped up here on an old box of lug nuts, and got to lap the valves. I've just done one. That's how it looks. End up with a nice silver sealing ring on there, which, as you can imagine, the other ones do not have. So you do that, not 24 times, but 48 times. You've got a coarse grade, and you've got to run back through it the finer grade. Really, you'd use a lapping tool, but I'm actually pretty lazy for that, so I'll get myself a little hex bit, put on a bit of vacuum line, poke them together, and then you can chuck it on an impact or whatever you've got, and when you poke your valve on the end of there, poke it through, put the vacuum tube on the end of it, you've got an automatic valve lapper. So that cuts down time tremendously because it takes ages to hand lap a 24 valve head twice. Simple yet tedious process, so I'm going to get into it because I still have 47 more to do. Always when you do it, make sure you put something on your actual stem of the valve, WD-40 or oil or something. You don't want to be spinning around a valve inside of your guides there completely dry. Fast forward a fair bit of time later, and I have done all the valves and I've given it a quick carbon clean up. Still a bit dirty, so I'll run it through with the Dremel on a Scotch wheel. That's how it's looking. Just done number one there, looks way better than the rest. Still not perfect, but it's way better. So when it's all nice and clean, I can put it together and then give it to Colin, and he will pressure test it, crack test it, skim it, and then that's pretty much the head done. Pretty good polish up with the Scotch wheels on the Dremel, and it's come up way better, but it's not perfect. That's just the problem with things like that, is you will never actually get it perfect unless there's hours or you vapor blast it. So here's how it's come up. I don't think it's too bad. I'll give it another oven cleaner soak, but you're kind of just pissing the wind. At a certain point, you got to stand back and say it's good enough. That should do it. Let it sit for a few minutes, give it a quick scrub, wash it off, and that's as far as I'm going with it. I'm just ready to give this thing a home, so I'm going to do that. A little bit of do it beforehand because I have to oven clean the block again to get rid of all the oil residue before I paint it. So I'll do it now. What you want to do here, I've got a ball hone. Some people don't like these, but really this is the best way to do it. If you're not getting a machine job to do it. I'm going to cover everything in WD-40 or CRC. Make sure you get the block as well. Get it all soaked, and then what you're aiming for is a 40 to 45 degree crosshatch. Crosshatch is what keeps the oil on the walls, so it's kind of important you actually get it right. Just for demonstration purpose, you actually want to go quite slow, because a 45 degree would actually be something like that, but you need to keep it dead even as well. Done cylinder 6 here, and you can see by the pattern of what is left behind of your ball hone is your degrees of, well, your cross hatching. So that actually looks pretty good. So I'll get it ready and I'll wipe it and give it a check. That's the finish that I've got. Now, I'm not actually done yet. This is just to pretty much break the glaze, clean it up, and see what I'm looking at. And it's a little bit steep, so slow it down a bit, or move a bit slower, and try again. Finish my second pass here. Now that's looking way better there. So yeah, get the rag and have a check. There you go. That's pretty damn good. That's what I would call near 45 degrees. That's good enough for our application. So, got 5 more to do. Another one done, 4 more to go. That's what you're doing. You're aiming for that 30 degree to 45. I try to keep it around the 45 mark or just below. And that's it. You can't really go too wrong. And you can't resize the bores, so you don't worry about that. Doing it at home, you're obviously not going to straighten the cylinder balls either. That's what a machine shop can do. They can actually straighten out slight imperfections or tapers in your bore. But with a ball hone, you're just giving it a new surface. Because like I said, the rings, they seal on it. So the rings seal on oil that's embedded in those cross hatches, and that's also what wears the rings in. So that's why it's actually quite important to get it right. If you do it wrong, you find out when your engine is it just breathes. Breathing engine, obviously that is compression loss, so that's loss of power. So every little bit does count into an engine, but do the other 4 bores and then see how it looks. That's bore number 3 done, 3 to go. Be satisfying seeing a fresh home job compared to what you were previously dealing with. Much better. That's bore number 4. All done. 2 more to go. Can't remember if I actually said it or not, but you need to keep the balls wet. Pause. You need to keep them wet in lubricant. So don't run it dry. It needs to always be wet. So spray it when you're doing it, or if you can't multitask, well, stop and spray it. Just make sure you've always got the cylinders and your hone coated. Looking from the right angle when you are doing it, you can see as you're going down, you can see the angle of your cross hatching, which is the lubricant being wiped away. So if it looks off, change your pace, speed up, slow down. Whatever you're doing, drill speed, well, however you move your arms, just got to keep it in that degree threshold. On number 5 there, it's looking pretty good. So give that a wipe, check it. That's sweet. No problem at all with that one. On to the last and final. Number 6, give her a wipe. That's all 6. The RB30 is all honed up, honed off. Pretty happy with the finishes on them. Double check with Dean anyway, in case he sees something wrong with it. Other than that, I've got a set of 6 fresh bores. Top overview, it's all the bores. Looking pretty good. Hell of a lot better than they once were. Now there's a few marks on here, there's a few scores, but that's fine. When you're doing a home job, or you're not actually reboring, that's just something you've got to live with. Applies in a few things with machining. Now high spots are a problem, low spots aren't. In a motor, most low spots are just oil storage, so this is what it is. Yeah, if you got little pits in your bores, there you go, you've actually got more oil storage, no worries. I'll leave the block alone for now and jump onto, well, what I got to bolt to the block. So I'm gonna clean the oil pump up. I'm pretty crusty at the moment. I haven't opened it up, haven't touched it. It's just had a quick rinse, so needs to be stripped, disassembled, check it all, take the casting flashes out and reassemble it and paint it. One here is just a standard twin cam pump. It's not a N1. The N1 pump would have another screw right there. That is a bit of flow, a bit of pressure, and a little bit newer, but these are still fine. All the screws pulled out, so rip the plate off. Should come apart like that. Now it's full of water because I did power wash it. It's not actually, well, it wasn't full of water. A few marks on here, it's not too bad. Can't really catch your finger on them, so that's something. Now, there's an inside gear and there's an outside gear, and the inside is your usual problem on an RB, which is that small square right on the end. That is the only drive engagement from the crank for that entire gear. So, you ever wondered why they split oil pump gears and RBs blow up? That's why. Inspection, I probably won't run this again. These gears are pretty scored. You can actually feel them when you get in the right spot, and you can hear it on camera as well, especially the inside. So those gears are going straight in the bin. That back plate, that is just as scored garbage. So this pump is trashed. Right onto the bench in the same spot. Got another one, because I'm a serial hoarder for RB parts. And this one should be sweet. It's also just a non-N1 twin cam pump, so I'm not gaining or losing any ground here. Rip it open and have a look. But I've seen that happen before, so I pulled the back plate off. No worries, the bolts were extremely tight, but they all broke loose, but one of them broke extra loose. So it snapped off in the housing there. Those bolts were so tight, or the screws, that the screw broke before the thread tension did. We'll see if I can get that out, otherwise that's also going straight in the bin because I cannot be bothered. I want to try and get this block painted today because I'll head into town tomorrow and go grab my crank that Dean's finished up with. Got myself a crank collar turning up, so once I grab that, I can also get that machined on, and then I want to drop in the block at the same time so Dean can deck it. This thing's mostly done for prep work. Block's been honed and I've already hogged out that hole there for my bulkhead. Nothing else really needs to be done. I've got some head restrictors coming, so they'll go in, and there's nothing really else. The plugs are out, everything's out, nothing needs to be modified or any way. So I'm going to give it a wire wheel, clean it up and spray it, and then that way when he decks it, be nice and clean, so don't have to worry about overspray or anything. Clean the front up, and then once it's been decked and everything, I have to clean it out again to get all the metal shavings out, and then chuck the frost plugs in and start reassembling. Block's just got a good coating. I've pulled the main gallery plugs out. I haven't cleaned it all, get on inside the holes. Gotta get everywhere. I'll give that a bottle brush in there, and then give it a power wash. Just gotta let it sit for a little bit. Let the oven cleaner work its magic. And then give it a dry off, let it sit in the sun. Tape it up, spray it. Bubbling away, all good. I've been through the holes here and poked a bottle brush through them. That's why you take them out. Now I'm gonna give it a power wash. Just gotta be quick to re-lube the bores in CRC or something that prevents rust. That's because they'll just start flash rusting immediately. Second water starts drying, they start rusting. So just gotta keep that in mind as well. Just run through and power wash the block, so it's all clean. Turn the compressor on, giving it a blow dry. I've also cleaned up a water pump and an oil pump. I'll show you why in a second. I've also got a scrap head sitting on it. And yeah, just about ready for paint when it dries. That's how it's sitting. So I've got a dummy 20DE head sitting there. That's a scrap one. It's also bent like a banana. Now I've got a water pump and an oil pump sitting on there. That is the scored original housing, and that's off to the garbage. But instead of taping things up, you can just bolt them on and spray straight over it. So that's one easy way to do it. Saves me taping it up when I can just blast the whole block in one go. Also chucked the main gallery plugs in. You don't really want paint in there, so make sure you throw them back in before you spray it. It's all clean anyway. Giving it a dry, clean the deck, lube the bores back up so they don't rust. So give that a few minutes, let it dry, and then start painting while I got some sun, and that's it. Just sit outside to dry for a bit. Most of the paint that I use is just Super Cheap's MTN stuff. Mainly because I've never had any problem with it. It always works. It's done me well forever, and with trade discount, well, why would I not? Also, something I've got to do is measure the pistons. So when Nissan builds their motors, everything's graded, or any manufacturer does it of course. There's numbers beside the block bores on the deck face, the 1, 2, 4, whatever, and that is determining the size and grade of the bore. And pistons have the same thing as well. So now I've got another set of pistons that aren't out of this, and obviously motors wear, what they do, metal on metal wears. So measure the pistons up, and you can actually get them pretty good. You can mix and match what piston goes where. You might have one smaller piston and one smaller hole, or you could have a bigger piston and a bigger hole in the block. So you match them there, you get your ideal or best case piston to wall clearance or size or anything. So just little details like that goes a long way, instead of just putting a ring compressor on it and smashing them clean in. You can actually improve things slightly in any way. I've already measured all the bores. I did that before I even honed the block or did any work, in case it was way out of round or had big problems with it. So you do that first to make sure you haven't spent heaps on machining, just to find that your block is trashed and you have to go oversize. So I've got them all written down, and once I measure my pistons, I can start calculating what's best to go where. Once Dean's done with that, he's gonna obviously deck the block. I'll get it back, I'll clean it out again. Now the reason I'm cleaning it now again properly, because you don't really want any oil residue in there. When he goes to machine it, he's not gonna use any oil, it's gonna be dry cut, and then I can blow all the chips out instead of trying to rewash it again and then getting rid of half the paint with corrosive cleaners. So that's why I'm doing it. And then once it's back, I will do the rings, go do the ring gaps. So that's also a pretty tedious process, takes ages. Got to go bit by bit, because once you go too far, well, you're asking for breathing. Take material off, but you can't put it back. Just got my first coat down, looks beautiful. Now I didn't tape over things like this because I'll just end up scratching them off anyway for a clean gasket service. And that's where you bolt the pumps on. Spray clean over them, who cares? Just gonna let that dry for a few minutes. Not go dead dry, but dry enough. Also just giving it a light coat in here. I'm not gonna go crazy because it's just for a bit of rust prevention. So let it dry for a bit and spray it again, and that's it. Take everything back off. Just been measuring out some bolts here. Get some nice brand new ones so it looks all fresh. Some for the cash bracket, thermostat housing, oil pump, water pump, and a few miscellaneous ones, and a set of 4 for the VCT plate as well. Get some nice hex bolts or Allen head bolts. This one on my mate's motor, we just reused the original ones because they had nice zinc plating on them. But the ones on mine are toast, so get some nice black ones or silver or gold ones. Got that all noted down, so strip the blacks tomorrow at the hardware store and they will give me every bolt that I've got. And then when I go to put the motor back together, I'll have everything ready to go. No issue. That block's also done drying with its second coat of paint, so check it out. And that's how it's looking. Fresh as. Yeah, ready to go. So off to the shop again tomorrow, get the deck done, and that is getting pretty damn near close to being done. Well, that's that. So take that into the machine shop tomorrow. While he's doing that, I'll drop the block off and then pick the crank up, and the crank's going to go be machined to put the crank holder on. And then once that's done, I'm going to take the crank back and then I'm going to grub screw it and clean it out again, make sure that's all good. And then by the time that's been done, the block should have been decked. And also in that meantime, I should have the head dropped off to Colin so they can skim it. So I need to reassemble that soon and then get that out the way as well. Need a few random odds and ends as well. So I'm going to need a thermostat, which I forgot to buy, and a set of spark plugs. It just had these in here, which never even heard of them, but I'm not going back in. I need to catch up with the postie at some point as well to steal his ultrasonic cleaner. Throw valves in there, springs, retainers, rods, pistons, bolts, lifters, everything. If it fits in there, I'll throw it in. Also need to throw in the cam caps as well. They need a good scrub up. The cast bracket and everything. So I'm going to fit it in there, I'm throwing it in there, I'm cleaning it. Works great. Get the water hot, chuck some degrees of detergent, whatever. Shit comes out brand new. Well, that's where we're going to leave it for this one. It's late at night now. So the crank and the block are being machined as we speak. So coal has been done and the surface is being done. And that'll be me. So about well underway here. Also have another project upcoming, so show that soon enough, but the R32 needs some work. That's the next thing on the list.